Good morning, good evening, and good night, everybody. Welcome once again to another episode of Side Note. If you haven't already, check out the socials there in the chat. The links are all there for Twitter, YouTube, and the Discord. Love to see you on those platforms. As always, we are recording for the YouTube channel, so please, if you don't want your comments put up there, keep them until afterwards or put them in the Discord. But with all that said and done, following on from last week's episode with Clone, we're back to normal scheduling. So
I don't think we can top last week's episode. Let's be honest, we peaked way too early. We should have at least left that one for a few months. I think.
Although you may notice we are without our third man, Mr. Yakes, who is not with us this week.
Yakes isn't here today. He is elsewhere. But we should carry on anyway. But all right, so unfortunately, no Twitch news. What?
Well, there is.
I mean,
there is.
But there's no like major Twitch news. But we do have some juicy Trovo news. So Trovo has made an interesting play with a new payment method. Streamers can now, instead of using a bank account, be paid via prepaid debit card. For those who don't know what a prepaid debit card is, a prepaid debit card is a debit card which is preloaded with money. It's kind of like a gift card, except you can keep loading money onto it.
Doesn't half sound sus, does it?
It does sound very sus. I don't know whether I like that or not. I mean, it's handy, but it's not going to accelerate the payments by any means.
To me, it's more of a sidestep on paying the fees and stuff that are related or associated with payments.
Yeah, well, apparently there's zero fees with this method.
Well, of course there is, because all they do is they just go and get a preloaded debit card and they in the mail. So again, I don't see how that's going to work for a lot of fucking people.
I mean, but if they're doing that, if they're loading money onto a prepaid debit card and then sending those cards out,
it's going to delay it even further.
It would delay the payment even more than what
unless they're doing virtual
is.
Debit cards and you just get the thing online.
I think it is, because you do have to sign up on the MasterCard website for a certain thing.
Right.
So I think,
but it's not like
I think you hold the physical card, but they hold the money. So they just sort of inject the money into the card.
Yeah, that's right.
You get the money.
You've got to get the card from MasterCard, and then they just keep, loading it up. But the thing is, like with Trovo, they've already got like a payment system for their premium currency anyway. So you can still request a payout. So I don't. It just sounds like a whole bunch of like 10-cent bullshit to me. But
it sounds just like another option, just for the sake of having an option.
It kind of sounds like it's trying to sidestep, like, because you're getting paid via prepaid debit card. So I know Has and Wingman can probably shed a bit of light on this, being the factor in chat at the moment. But the taxation, the IRS would have a general field day if they found out that was being used.
Yeah. So Kaz has just said that generally prepaid debit card holders get paid a few days earlier than usual. That's cool. Right. I mean, that's great that you get paid a few days earlier, but there's still, what, a 45-day turnaround? Was it?
From Trovo, was it? Well, my last recollection was a 45-day net.
Yeah. Between that month that you accrued an income.
So we're in March now. That's right. So we're in March now. So if anyone was in the Trovo 500 now, they wouldn't get paid until mid-May.
That's quite frankly disgusting. I don't like that idea.
That's just, it's just gross. But the thing is, like, with streaming, you're supposed to report your income. So if they're doing prepaid visas, that kind of sidesteps the whole oh,
Well, it's
look,
essentially
I
well
don't need to do
prepaid.
taxation for that.
Yeah, well, prepaid debit cards are essentially gift cards. Really,
Well,
that's
that's right. Yeah.
but with real
So
money. Yeah, it's like being paid cash in hand. So,
exactly, it's a big
ooh,
sidestep
that's
for,
that. Oh, I
but
don't like
because
that.
again, because the the base of Trovo, aka Tencent or whatever, is based in Asia, I don't think they have the same um like joint forms and stuff for
Yeah.
the taxation purposes. So it's
Okay,
yeah,
so over there
it's
it
a double edged
probably
sword, that
won't.
one.
So over there it probably won't have that much of an effect. But
But
places
for
like,
a streamer in
say,
the US,
so, even over here, it's
hmm,
classified as an income. You need to report that income, get
that's
taxed on
exactly
it,
right.
yada yada yada. And if you're getting paid
So it's a way to sidestep.
in a prepaid debit card, that's
Hmm,
technically not an income, and you
that's right.
can't get
It's a way to
taxed for
sidestep that. That's right. It's a way to sidestep the situation. So in
it.
a way, Trevor's
I
kind
don't
of
like that.
breaching the rules and regulations in that
Yeah,
aspect. But because, like I said, because they're based somewhere in the Asian sector, it could very well be that that's a legal option that they can use.
I don't like that.
Same as
That's
PayPal. PayPal's the same thing because it can be put through as a um, sort of a sidestep away from the the taxation side. PayPal can be kind of used the same way
yeah,
as basically a prepaid Visa or a prepaid debit card because
true.
most places now do PayPal. So if they pay into your PayPal, you can then pay straight from PayPal and it doesn't go through your main channels. So
Yeah,
not much different. And I know Mixer used to do the PayPal option. I know there's been talk with
yeah.
Twitch able to use the PayPal option as well. And I know there's been a call for it on Glimesh as well.
But that's not the case over here, though, Kaza. We haven't had
Yeah,
anything in place for PayPal, so you could essentially rake in thousands of dollars a month and
yeah.
not claim any of it.
Hmm.
See, for Glimesh though, because you've got to link your bank account, a little bit different. No, because you've linked your bank account, it's technically
That's right.
income.
It's kind of there.
I
So if
mean,
Glimesh did have here's a
yeah,
PayPal option, we'll pay out to PayPal for us here in Australia, especially, and I think it's in New Zealand, also I think South Africa as well.
mm,
I think of the same sort of basis as what we are. Yeah, we could make $1,000 in subs and get a $10,000 dono, and there's nothing that can be done because it goes into PayPal. It just sits there. PayPal for a lot of places, except for the US, acts as like a bit of an offshore bank account. Basically, it just sits there. You can just sign in, move money, send it, buy,
yeah,
do whatever.
mm,
So yeah, I mean,
yeah,
the whole prepaid Visa thing, the whole prepaid debit cards. I mean, it is what it is.
mm.
Do I like it? Not really. Would I use it? Probably not.
No, I don't like it. It's too dodgy for my likings.
My whole thing when I was on Trovo is they just paid it into premium currency
Mm.
and just allowed me to just use it there. It was like a holding account there on Trovo. I just used all that to put premium currency, put it back into the platform again. So it was like I
So
didn't really use the money
money
anyway.
laundering, essentially. uh,
Virtually, that's
yeah.
pretty much what they were doing. Yeah.
So basically, you never saw a cent. It just went straight back into the platform.
No, no, no. I saw it. I just chose to put it back into the platform rather than taking
Okay,
it out.
right.
So I was like the same with Mixer and the
Still,
Embers. You
yeah.
know, you just put it back in. I never
Yeah,
actually kept it.
yeah, I guess. But anyway, moving on from that, FaZe Clan has a brand new member. Of all people, it's Snoop Dogg. Uh, Apparently, Snoop will sit on FaZe Clan's board of directors once the company goes public later this year. He'll also co-create content, participate in key business initiatives, and launch merchandise with the brand, alongside some of the group's other prominent members. Snoop's son Cordell said, "As I've been watching what FaZe Clan has been building in the gaming space, I knew there was a natural connection with what my dad has been doing. When I looked at the two brands, I was inspired by the synergy that they could create, so I brought them together in this partnership. I can't wait for the world to see what we're about to do.
Yeah,
fucking
because I'm
man.
sure Snoop or FaZe have never heard of each other.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah,
like, I mean, shit. So now it's
all,
not Snoop Dogg; it's FaZe Snoop.
well, yeah. He's
He's
changed
under
his
the
name, but he hasn't really changed his name. He still goes by Snoop Dogg,
yeah.
but he's like FaZe Snoop now. It's really weird, but I mean that's cool. I mean, Snoop Dogg's deep into the gaming scene at the moment, so props. If that's what he's keen on doing, so be it. Oh, Elden Ring has only been out for a few weeks and has already been massively broken. The speedrunners have attacked it from every angle, and the latest speedrun has clocked in at under 30 minutes. I believe
25 minutes.
It was 25 now. Last time I checked,
25. It was... No, I checked it this morning.
22. There you go. It's getting even stupider. Anyway, I mean, the report that I read...
I'm not sure on that 22. I don't think that's confirmed.
It was 29.27 was the one that I saw. I mean, 25 is believable. 100%. The speedrun was done by Distortion2, who has already set most of the speedrun times in Elden Ring. He uses the horse's ability to double jump to circumvent large portions of the map and utilizes wrong warping, which forces the map to reload and warp the player in the wrong location. I've seen that. It's a complicated process, but yeah, because I've seen some gameplay of it, and you can just skip huge portions of the map, like just by walking around everything, basically.
Yeah. Right, I'll have to get on the speedrun site and confirm that.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Because the last confirmed was 25 minutes.
Under 30 minutes, pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, right.
Such a large
for a game that's like a Dark Souls.
Yeah, I mean
that's pretty nuts. I know Wingman plays a fair bit of Elden Ring too, so
speedrunners are absolutely wild. Oh yes, a new South China Morning Post report says China is expanding its restrictions on online gaming for minors to include live streaming, audio and video, and social media services. The new regulations, currently open to feedback from the public, calls on all online service providers to create a youth mode, which limits on allowed usage time, content, and how much they're allowed to spend on online purchases. Interestingly, the regulations don't apply only to online service providers, but to hardware companies making and selling mobile devices and computers, who must accept government and social supervision and install access restriction software on their products before releasing them to the public. Man, China, they're really going for it.
Wouldn't you want to live there? Yeah, they're shooting big. I mean,
apparently
it's...
the usage for the internet over there by minors is upwards of like 98%, which is above the 75% average, I think, for the country.
But I mean, that like, are China really looking at the current generation that we're in? Like the current generation, everything is there online. Like,
yeah, but I think what they're mainly doing is blocking the ability for the bad stuff to brainwash.
You may as well shut the internet down then.
China's
even if you're limiting it to 10 hours a week, they're still going to see that that bad stuff in that 10 hours in the week. It's not like it's going to assist in the dropping of those things. They're still going to be there. I think they've lost touch with reality, and the fact that they're like everything nowadays is pretty much online. Like it's right there. It's
that's
if you're going to limit someone to say, yeah, well, they're making these devices, they're building this technology, and then they're saying, oh, but don't use it. Well, like why?
But they've even admitted that most of their youth gets their information from the internet, and I mean, they're just trying to do what they can to
limit,
essentially put pillows around everything and make sure no one gets hurt.
Yes, don't get your information from the internet. Come and see us, and we'll tell you all the lies you want to hear.
Yeah, they're the overprotective parents, essentially.
Yeah, pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but they will find a way. If they want to find something, they will find it. I mean, that
it's inevitable.
It's like any child. You tell them not to do something, they're gonna fucking do it.
But I mean, look at how we look. Well, I mean, look at what we said with Fortnite and in China. Like they changed the game for the Chinese thing, so they're always going to shift the bar. They're always going to move things around. You know.
Yeah, I mean, they altered the game.
I mean,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And VPNs.
Yeah.
I mean, how easy is it to use a VPN these days and get around or circumvent all the rules and regulations anyway?
How do you regulate a VPN? You can't.
And I mean, they say a youth mode. Well, we've got that on Xbox. You've got like the kids accounts and stuff. But I mean, how hard is it to just? Oh, look, I've got to be 16 to be out of youth. Here, let me change my birth year by 4 years, and now I'm not a youth anymore. I can do what I want. Like, I mean,
yeah, but it's like
they're not stupid.
It'd be more like mobile phone providers. Phones like whatever's popular over there. I mean, like the OnePlus or like Samsung phones or like all of that.
Even so, like how
its own
how are they going to enforce a
country.
youth mode?
They would have their. I mean, how would they enforce a youth mode in Fortnite? They just forcefully do it.
Right. So then mum and dad go and buy a phone. They have to suck up this phone that's made for youth. Like,
well, that essentially
kind of defeats the purpose.
That phone would not be sold in the country unless it had a youth mode. That's what the regulation would imply.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. So you and I go in and we buy a phone. It's got youth mode on it. We don't use it. What's to say that the youth of that particular area aren't just avoiding that anyway?
I mean, I don't know.
They're not really thinking about the things properly.
I don't know. It's an overly complex problem.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I mean, they're attacking it small bits at a time. Essentially, they're doing what Twitch does. It's just like, oh, it's leaking a bit there. Let's just put a Band-Aid on that, and it's like, oh, try and
let's put a piece of paper in there to fill that hole, and then once that melts down, we'll just redo it.
Yeah. Good luck to them. I think it's going to be an ever ongoing battle for China. I mean, they're never going to get on top of it.
No,
the more the world changes,
not in this
the more
current
they'll
generation.
have to change regulations.
Not in this current generation, they won't.
No. On different news, Microsoft has finally released its direct storage API to game devs. Hooray! It's the same tech that's in the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles. Direct storage allows the platform to stream assets directly to the GPU from an SSD, making load times up to 3 times faster than the conventional method. The conventional method involved data being taken from storage, copied to CPU, which then got sent to the RAM, back to the CPU, off to the GPU. The direct storage API will work on Windows 10, as well as Windows 11. But naturally, Microsoft states that it will work better on Windows 11 due to the framework in place.
Yes,
So
because they want you
basically,
to upgrade your PC to Windows 11.
yes, they're like games work better on Windows 11, which they might
When they,
when they
in
fix
the
their
future,
shit.
yeah, when they fix the fuck ups.
When they fix their shit, yes, it might. No, but the direct storage API it has been working side by side with Windows 11, so it will work better in Windows 11 than it will in Windows 10.
It's
But you'll still get the same
yeah,
relative experience.
it's built around the
Yeah.
framework for 11, but it's backwards compatible inevitably.
Yeah. But we won't see that in any games anytime soon.
No,
You'd be looking at quite a number of months at least until games
I'd probably say near the
start
end of the year.
utilizing that. Yeah,
End of the year, maybe early next year, probably before we see
yeah,
anything
I'd
really
say that.
focused on
I,
that.
I mean, it's the same as DLSS and FSR, really.
Yeah, it
Uh,
took ages to get them to actually
yeah,
full focus on it.
yeah. I mean, DLSS was a little bit harder than FSR because FSR is more software based. DLSS is AI based, so it's a little bit
Yeah,
tricky.
exactly. Yeah.
But regardless, Nintendo has filed an interesting patent of a controller. The design looks like the top half of a Nintendo 64 controller, but with only a D-pad, the four main buttons on the right, and two top bumpers. It's very odd looking. There is also a large protrusion out the back, which looks very similar to the old Rumble Pack port.
Mm.
Yes, it's very interesting. Very interesting look. Uh, Nintendo already has a wireless Nintendo 64 controller for the Switch, so we'll have to wait and see what exactly this patent is for. But
And
it's
actually, while we're on controls,
yes,
um, that new, I don't know if anyone's actually seen it. I know I shared it with you, Speed, but that new Pro Steer controller.
yes, very cool.
I'll drop the link for that in chat. If you guys
Yeah.
haven't checked that out, along with what Nintendo are doing there, there's a new controller coming out, more focused around the racing aspect, but it looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
They've already got the US patent signed. They're looking at the EU and the Australian patent coming up, and I've actually signed up to be a tester. So if we do get to test that, we'll definitely share that with you guys here on Side Note.
It's supposed to closely resemble what it would be like to actually hold a steering wheel without holding a steering wheel. So instead of like tilting your controller, it's actually like sort of pivots on
it pivots on the it's
points.
if you look at the link, you'll see that the two pivot points, they actually pivot up and down.
Yeah.
So the controller stays central, but it works on the movement. So it's a pretty interesting design. I'm actually pretty keen to see how that goes along with that new Nintendo controller if they get that through as well.
Yeah, it does look remarkably like a Rumble Pack port. Like like you just
on
shove
the back,
a massive,
it does.
Yeah, it's like you just shove a massive Rumble Pack straight in the back of it, and just.
I'm just wondering whether there might be something that we may be seeing of. Maybe that's a storage device, or maybe even it's a cartridge reader.
Oh, cartridge reader. Ooh.
You know, because remember the Switch games are what piddly little SD cards.
Because that'd be way better. Because you'd be able to just plug your cartridge directly into the controller instead of having an adapter for your console.
Right.
Because it's a very basic looking controller. It's literally D-pad, four buttons, two bumpers. It's like the old NES controller. That's basically all it is.
Literally like, yeah. More like the Super Nintendo controller.
Oh.
Because the NES one was only a D-pad and two buttons. The Super NES was the one that had the bumpers on top, the D-pad, and then the four buttons on the side.
So the question is, what would that be an adapter for? Like, which particular cartridges would be going Nintendo 64 cartridges, which would be a massive hit,
Uh-huh. That
Or
could very well be something along those sort of lines.
could they go further back? Maybe Super NES. Maybe.
No, too big. The Super NES were really big cartridges, don't forget.
Oh,
If it's
yeah,
on
no,
a,
they
if
were.
it's on a
Yeah,
controller,
all
you'd be
right. So,
looking at like DS or 3DS
uh,
or
all right.
things like that.
That'd be interesting. We'll have to wait and see.
It would explain why they're shutting the electronics store down though.
Revamping,
For those,
maybe.
if they've got something that'll read, so this could be a wired controller that'll plug into the Switch and that would read the cartridge and send it to the Switch. If that makes sense, if it's on a dock mode. So there
Yeah.
could be something along those sort of lines. If that
See, like, but the thing is that
the older gen games could still be played from there, like the 3DS, the 3DSi, the 3DSL, things like that. You know what I mean? Like they could bring those cartridges back to life, so to speak.
possibly, but it doesn't have the analog sticks though. So,
Wouldn't
like,
necessarily need it.
some
The
games
three,
you
like
did
you think
for
about
the for the 64. You did.
Game Boy.
Oh
No,
yeah,
but
but if
things
you're
like if
looking
you
at
think about the Game Boys and stuff like that, they only ever had D-pad and four buttons.
yeah, no, yeah,
So if
like
it's a Game Boy
because
adapter
they were
for
closing down the
Switch, it would
3DS
make sense.
store.
That's right.
So,
Yep.
ooh, it could be more the portable cartridges, like the 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Maybe
that's
that could
interesting.
also end up turning to be a dock, because don't forget we've got some already features like with your mobile phones. You can pair them up on you can get those clips for your Xbox controller. What if Nintendo's going that way of having that controller with the dock for the Switch, so you could actually play while you're walking around holding onto a control
Oh,
rather
so
than
like a multi-port adapter, so like a
mm,
universal adapter for other adapters.
pretty much, yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Because rather than
Uh,
using the Joy Cons while you walk around holding onto this giant screen like this, what if you only had a small controller and it
it'd
had the
be
screen attached to it?
it'd be a little bit. Yeah, no, it could work. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
So it'd be interesting to see. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely keep up on that.
Nintendo does like to do things a little bit differently. So,
Oh yes.
um, oh, big news. We did cover this last week with Clone. We did ask him about his thoughts on this. But if you aren't aware, fellow streaming platform Alt Air has officially closed its doors. The platform was making huge strides to make a platform that was safe for all users. Essentially, it was more based around mental health awareness and just having a safe place for people to stream and for people to view stuff. But unfortunately, its early demise came by the way of lack of funding. They've stated that costs were upwards of $50,000 per month to pay staff and have the base infrastructure. This number was fixed. That was a minimum amount of spend that they were doing, and that number would carry on past launch date. Naturally, after launch, that number would have increased because they would have had
My
to
gut feeling,
hire more team and
my
increase
gut feeling on
infrastructure.
that is I think they overcommitted by having to pay so much just in staffing. I think that was where they really kind of
Their
didn't
intentions were
foresee
good.
it. Oh, the
Their,
intentions were fantastic. Exactly right.
their
That platform would have been
intentions,
a good challenger.
yeah, their intentions were on the money, like absolutely. But what came out of it wasn't what they expected.
No, that's right.
The fact that you're paying so much money for a company that hadn't even launched yet is that, I mean, it was bound to fail from the beginning, to be honest.
I mean, they needed to get, like, in that situation, they really needed to get someone with a big backing in there who could have, like, footed that bill for a while.
Well, like they had
You know what I
a
mean? Like,
funding they had a funding campaign on WeFunder
Yeah.
And they had raised $100,000 to support the platform, but even they said they were unable to actually touch that money because of everything that was going on.
Yeah.
So
It sucks. I mean, Altair would have been another breath of fresh air in the streaming world. It would have potentially had a good future, but
it would have
you
been
can't
a very admirable
you,
competition.
you really can't throw that kind of effort in such a in like a short space
Yeah,
without having a good channel to run through on. So
yeah,
unfortunately,
yeah.
that has come at a cost. But
They said that they would have, at launch, they would have needed around 5,000 people supporting the platform with $10 memberships just to stay afloat. And that's a huge ask from a very new platform. Like to have 5,000
people want to
people
see it in action. People,
commit to
yeah.
to that.
I mean, people want to see the thing. They want to see it working. They don't want to just go, "Oh, look, you're open now. You want my money?" It's like, no, come on.
Yeah,
There's a few like oops moments I think in there, and look, they openly said that they made mistakes and they learned along the way. But have we seen the end of it? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I mean,
I
it's
think
very
maybe
possible.
they might come back in another facet. They might come back in a different point. They might have learned enough to go, okay, look, we need 6 months of nothing. Like we need your time for 6 months. Let's get it going and let's build on it, and then maybe we can start looking at a cost factor. But I don't know. I think it's just very hard. I think the staff involved, the devs involved, they put their heart and soul into it. I think at the end of the
They
day,
did.
it's
Yeah,
it's just a bad situation all around.
it's very possible that later on down the track they will, they might. I mean, the CEO might, reevaluate the situation. We're talking like way down the track. It's not going to happen
Oh
anytime
yeah,
soon. They might look at Glimesh or Brime, not necessarily Brime because they got bought out by a parent company. But more like Glimesh, to see where, we did things right over here to essentially produce a product that works, that is being supported, that isn't financially just sucking them dry.
draining. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with it all, I mean, everything around, whether it be gaming, whether it be streaming or whatever, everyone's always watching the next player. Like, they're always watching the next player. Who's doing this? What are they doing? How are they doing it? Is it working? Would that work in our model? It's it's always ever changing in the business.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Altair might be gone now. Could it possibly something happen in the future? I think it could.
It could.
It just needs a reassessment of how they go about it.
Yeah, it could be. It could definitely be revamped at a later date. I mean, the idea of it was a great idea.
Exactly right.
An entire streaming platform dedicated to mental health awareness. I mean, it was a no-brainer. It was damn good. But existing team who were let go have been giving 3 months' pay to support them during the transition to new jobs. And anyone who supported Altair via WeFunder is also getting a refund. So that entire $100,000 is going straight back out.
I mean, at least they've done the right thing on that aspect. They've gone.
I mean,
look,
morally,
we appreciate what you did, but we just can't accept it.
Yeah.
Please take it back, sort of thing. So
yeah, they did say that they couldn't keep that money in good conscience. Like they had to give that money back.
Yeah, exactly right.
I mean,
and look, I mean, for the staff, I mean, I'd love to see the staff, working with, other platforms. Like, I'd love to see them bounce into another place and be able to exert what they've learned there into another aspect and be able to say, hey, look, Twitch, we learned this during this phase, and we learned how we can best manage that. We see you're missing that point. Can we,
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that the staff stay around the industry and actually try and help, not necessarily go on their own, but maybe tag in with it with another team. Because like I said, there's Brime, there is Trovo, there's other places like D Live and all those places around that could definitely benefit from some sort of redirection or maybe a slight variant in what they're doing to make things just a little more, I guess, user friendly, streamer friendly in that aspect. So
and Psychotic just said, Glimesh isn't making profit lately either, but we're not hemorrhaging cash. That's true.
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
It's a balance.
Glimesh isn't. It's steady. It's a steady, slow decline at the moment, but it's steady. And I think
it's not a drop off.
All of us here who 100% support the platform will just ride that out until it bottoms, like happily. I mean, we're the ones who keep the platform alive, so why wouldn't we? Really?
Oh, exactly right. I mean, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And Clone even said that. Yeah, like it's in a steady decline, but it's not in a dangerous place.
No.
So,
yeah. Thoughts go out to all those who worked at.
oh, absolutely.
Hopefully, you can find a place in the world that best suits your needs. But onto something different. It seems that GPU prices are on the decline, especially in Australia.
Finally,
as we've reported, drops as much as 35% for RTX 3080s. It's believed that retailers are trying to move stock by selling at cost price. It's possible that they're doing it because of Ethereum 2.0, as it doesn't need GPU, it's more CPU based. I haven't seen the ones that I'm looking at drop in price yet. They're still like all the way up there.
Still top shelf, but yeah.
But I think it's the more common GPUs, which the 3080s, the 3070s, around that area, that those prices are starting to dip down a bit more.
Yeah.
But don't get caught out. Don't go buying yourself a brand new GPU just yet, as it's predicted that prices will continue to fall later this year, somewhere around August and beyond. So hold out.
Hang off until the Christmas time if you can.
Yeah. Because it is rumored that Nvidia will be running the RTX 30 series alongside the RTX 40 series for
Black Friday sales.
A good window. So
just
to alleviate the GPU shortage. So yeah,
maybe I can look at getting 30 series cards in my computer.
Christmas
Black Friday,
year.
bring it on. Big Christmas present at the end of the year.
Yeah, that'd be
30
nice,
series card.
Yeah. I need a new AMD card, but I mean those ones aren't declining in price anytime soon. So,
very AMD in the bin.
No, I actually like my card. It's good. I've got a 5700 XT. It does a bloody good job, considering it wasn't made to do what I'd make it do. Netflix is making another show based on a game, and this time it will be Tekken. Tekken Bloodline is set out to adapt a version of the game's franchise original story by focusing on Jin Kazama's rise to skill and power under the brutal tutelage of his grandfather. The series will launch sometime this year. That would actually be very interesting, I think. It is anime style, so if you're not into that sort of thing, obviously you're not going to enjoy it. But if you do like Tekken, you'll probably enjoy it anyway.
And in more Netflix news, subscriptions are going up, and you're going to be now charged for sharing your password. If you share your
Are you
account, you
serious?
will.
Is
Yep.
that really?
Saw
Oh,
that the other day that
God.
Netflix is going to up the subscription, and you're going to be charged now if an IP address logs into your account that is not from your IP.
I mean, that's fair game, really, because it's a product going to a different premises. You know, if it was coming, if you had, you know, the same account being shared across multiple devices in the same household, that's a little bit different. It's the same household,
That's
but
exactly right. See, straight away, like Psychotic and Casual both said, but what if you're on vacation and you're signing in? What if you're on your mobile app and you're signing in? It's going to be a different IP. So again, that's going to cause a lot of backlash for Netflix.
I guess it would be you know, oh, we've noticed that you're on this IP and this
Two
IP
IPs at the same
at the
time.
same time. No, no, no.
Yeah,
We're just gonna
yeah.
cut one of those. But I'd say they will have something in place if you do go on vacation and you do use your Netflix elsewhere, that you would be exempt to said charges. They'd have to. They'd have to, because
Yeah,
it's
two
just a
different
massive
countries in the
uproar.
same hour. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's just something to keep your eyes out for.
yeah. Another thing to keep your eyes out for is Doctor Disrespect's new AAA game, titled Midnight Society. It has already kicked things off with a giveaway, an NFT giveaway of all bloody things. Dr. Disrespect has already stated that NFTs and cryptocurrency will be deeply embedded into Midnight Society. The NFT in the giveaway, though, is a Day Zero patch. It's a digital item stored in a digital wallet to say that you were there from the beginning. Woo!
Wow.
Big fucking whoop. Who
Yeah,
cares?
because you know what'll happen with that NFT is somebody who wants that badge who didn't get it will then have to pay thousands of
An
dollars for it
exorbitant amount of cash.
just
Like,
to get a fucking badge that says I
yeah,
was there, even though they weren't fucking there.
essential. Yeah, I don't know how many of those badges were those patches were given away, but no doubt they will be worth an absolute truckload.
Oh, 100% they're going to be worth a
Yeah,
fortune. But again, why would you sell it to someone who you know wasn't there?
you wouldn't, unless you got really desperate for money, and then you would. But even then, no one would be able to afford it. But there's also nothing concrete about the game yet, except for some concept art and a quote on the page saying, Midnight Society is focused on delivering the most community-focused online PvP multiplayer experience the world has ever seen. Big talk. Built from the ground up in Unreal
From a
Engine
big mouth.
5. Yeah. Our new title will be made open to a Day Zero community, so people who got the badges, and major content creators, naturally, because you got to support the major content creators in early access, from the earliest most iterations via the Founders Pass. The Founders Pass has now been sold out, and new applicants are not being accepted. So,
Surprise, surprise.
yeah, so unless you were in the know, you ain't getting access to
You don't
Midnight
know.
Society until it gets released. So,
See,
congratulations.
here's my thing on that. Why wouldn't you open it to as many people as physically possible?
Money.
Why would you not get it in the hands and people showing it off?
Money. Sorry, that's the
He
only reason
doesn't
I've
need
come with.
it.
But
Like, this is
clearly,
coming from the
he
doctor. He doesn't
does.
need it.
Like, yeah,
Well,
his,
yeah, I
his
mean,
name will sell the game,
yeah.
regardless of whatever it is. But he's claiming some big shit, like,
Mhm.
like game-changing things are going to be implemented into this game that no one has done before. Big talk. We'll see whether that actually happens. But I mean, why else would you make a big AAA game and hype it up so much if it wasn't for money?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you got to be expecting to make what? I mean, in this current market, people will always buy a game as soon as it's released anyway.
Yeah, and the fact that
because it's going to be his
name
game
behind it, yeah,
yeah, they're going to just sell that in
Yep.
droves. So
yeah,
I don't know. Look, I mean, if he has pulled something out of the bag, awesome. If not, I mean, it's going to show up pretty fast. I mean, let's be honest. People are going to be looking for every little problem that they can find to throw back at that position.
There's going to be those two groups of people. That one group is going to be like, yeah, Dr. Disrespect, he's the best. You know, this game's awesome. Oh my god, he was the best thing ever. And then you're going to have that other group that's like, fuck this guy. I'm gonna try and bring this guy down and really show him for what he actually is, and just strip the game down and just nitpick every little detail.
I think it's not so much they're going to try and take him down, but they're going to literally just critique the game to absolute no end. They're going to find every little thing, like, oh, the movement's off. You know, I moved and it was late. It was this. I shot and the bullet didn't leave for that split. You know, they're going to be just. Oh, they're going to be fine tooth combing the entire game.
It'll be nitpicking
just to find it.
Essentially,
you know, can you imagine if there's like a Forza glitch, like, you know, where you drive in and you get stuck into it? Can you imagine if something like that comes into the game? That is just going to be exploded across social media.
I mean, I do.
Oh, the doctor makes his game and he couldn't even fix one simple fucking bug. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just going to be so massive.
The problem is,
when it fails,
it's going to have Cyberpunk 2077 hype around it. And that's bad. That's bad for a game.
I mean, look, let's be honest. If you're gonna go that Cyberpunk hype route, you're crazy. Look at Elden Ring. No one knew about Elden Ring until it freaking launched. Everyone's like, "Oh, what's this Elden Ring?"
Now look at it. Best fucking game ever.
It's fucking blowing up all over the place.
Yeah. Everyone loves it.
You know, you got to fly under the radar. You've got to let it go underneath, and you know it's. But like you said, it's got the double D attached to it, so it's just going to happen.
It's gonna sell regardless. It's like Rockstar, whatever Rockstar produces, everyone's going to be like, I'm going to buy it. They don't care what it is.
You're always going to be fanboys.
Yeah. But on terrible ratings. Even after its recent 1.07 patch, it seems that Gran Turismo 7 just can't cut any slack. It's now the holder of the lowest Metacritic user score ever for a PlayStation game. A rating of 2.3. That is compared to its Metacritic score, which I believe is 78. So...
I'm a little concerned around that rating, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty low. I mean, it was 3.5, I think, prior to the patch. And after the patch, it's now 2.3. Oof.
See, the reason that bothers me so much is I just don't feel that the player is actually giving it a proper score. Like, they're looking at it going, oh, they didn't patch the thing that I wanted them to fix, so fuck them, I'm going to give them a bad score.
Yeah.
Or they didn't patch that car that just doesn't quite have that right look. Yeah, it's like, come on. Did they fix the fundamental problems? Did they go to the base? Did they go to the core and say, okay, we've got problems here, here, and here. That's going to be our patch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, did they break the game more? Like, from what I've seen, no. They seem to have fixed a lot of the core problems.
They did fix a lot of problems. But there are a lot of people who are just straight up unhappy about all of it.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
Yeah. No, one customer wrote, no content, forces microtransactions, fixed roulette cards, race rewards are a joke, cars are overpriced, ridiculous tire model. Some graphics in the background are straight from the PS3 or PS2. I mean, that's some
Well,
heavy hitting stuff, really.
well, let's be honest. You and I touched on that before it launched. We said the background graphics were a little bit.
Oh,
How you doing?
I mean, anything in the mirror looks PS1.
But
Like,
does that really affect the game? Like, is that really a
no.
game breaker?
I mean, that's a
No.
minor thing.
Microtransactions? Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
That's bullshit. That you shouldn't be
Yes.
having everything jammed in your throat. Hey, buy more, buy more, buy more, buy more. That
Yeah,
doesn't.
it's like,
That's not
you
needed.
can't access this unless you buy this with real money.
But I've also seen a fair bit where the devs are getting absolutely hammered by it, but it's not the devs. Like it's the Sony.
Yeah.
Like it's the upper management that are causing this problem.
Yeah.
Like, please stop blaming the game and the devs. It's not the game or the devs. It's the goddamn CEOs of Sony that are causing this issue.
Yeah.
But like, I do agree, the car prices and things are down. Like the car prices are up and the rewards are down. So you've got to grind out a lot more to get what you normally wouldn't have to grind as much for. But
well, I think
again,
that's
like,
what they know about. They know that the game is very grindy. So they had to implement something that was going to sort of shortcut that process for those who are impatient. And what better way than to introduce microtransactions?
And that's what you're seeing. I think you're seeing a lot of the impatient, like, brats, I call them, not getting their own way because, I can't just grind this race 3 times and buy the car.
Yeah.
Now they want me to buy this pack that's going to cost me actual money.
Yeah.
So again, do I think the score is justified? Not 100%, but
I mean,
in some aspects, I do feel that the game is probably letting its community and its player base down.
Like, don't get me wrong, I've nitpicked that game. I mean, I watched the trailer. I watched the early preview trailer. And I tore that thing down and just pointed out all of its flaws. But on the whole, the game is actually a good game. It's a classic Gran Turismo game. It is Gran Turismo. It's good. It's just ruined by microtransactions. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't think they're going to get rid of microtransactions anytime soon.
No.
It's almost just a fixed part of the game now. People are going to be unhappy. That's just what it is now. That's the game.
Yep.
I can only hope that Forza Motorsport 8 does not do the same thing. Please don't make it a game about microtransactions.
Let's be honest. What did we just talk about others watching what the other players are doing?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, there is no doubt that Forza is watching. They are watching very closely as to what Gran Turismo is going through right now and ticking that off the list going, no, we don't want that one.
I bloody hope so. I hope they're looking at that and I hope they're listening to its fans. Like, all the stuff that they did wrong in 7, they need to just fix that in 8. 8 has to be good. I mean, it's not going to be...
I think
that they don't have to do a lot now because Gran Turismo is like... Just come out and it's like...
It's getting hammered. And it's getting hardly hammered for something that's not really a hammering point. Like, it's an unfair hammering, to be honest. But that's the way the gaming is right now.
Yeah.
As for Motorsport 8, I mean, get rid of those cards, get back to what Motorsport was.
Yeah. Fuck those cards off.
I mean,
don't want to see those
I-
cards in that game again.
like honestly, I think if you go the way, if you kind of step back to Motorsport 3 and 4 and you kind of revamp that kind of system and you bring that back without the microtransactions, I think you're on a winner. I really do.
Yeah.
I think they're there.
Another game that seems to be on a winning streak at the moment. Stream gone. Bye. Okay. For the last 4 years, sweaty virgins have been building away and decimating in Fortnite. But all that changed recently when Chapter 3 Season 2 began. All building has been removed from the game for now. Mainly
For a
to
limited
test the
time,
waters, yes. And it seems it has been a big hit for those who can't build the Empire State Building in 3 seconds. It's been reported that the building mechanic will come back within a few weeks via a story arc. It's also been reported that the no building mode is also being worked on and will be implemented permanently. I have seen
that will be fucking amazing.
I have seen a couple of pictures of people taking photos of their screen, saying that there will be like a solo no building mode, like in brackets. So
Good.
No building mode looks like it's a permanent thing in Fortnite.
That's going to be good because, to be honest, I mean you're looking at people, you're looking to what you try and drag players in from like PUBG, Warzone, you know, other things along those sort of lines, Apex, all those kind of things, Realm Royale for another one. You know, you pull those players in to Fortnite, you give them a no build mode, which is what they're used to. You're now going to have two versions of the game, I guess. You're going to have the sweaty build, you know, 5-star hotels in 3 seconds, and you're going to have the proper battle royale players coming in, and now you're starting to get a game that is somewhat actually playable, and people want to play it. I know, for one, like I've seen a lot on my Twitter lately of everyone going, "Oh, you know, this new no build mode is awesome, and if they keep it, I'm going to play it a lot more."
People
and I'll be the same.
Are loving it.
100%.
And like I've thought about it. I've thought about diving back into it. But the problem I see is that I haven't played it enough. I mean, I've played it for like 20 minutes and cracked shits and stopped playing it. But like, I haven't played it enough to know important things. Like, I would essentially be a brand new player. Like, I would have to.
But that's where the
everything from.
But that's where the no build mode actually allows that to happen, because you don't need to focus on
I would need to
building
learn
the skyscrapers. You can just
but I would need to learn
loot
weapons,
and shoot, and that's it.
Weapon classes, like
what classes?
Where
there is no classes.
No, like your gold tier, your green tier, your fucking grey tier.
Oh, it's just color coding. Your white, your blue, your purple, your gold. I mean,
but like learning all of that, learning where to find the best stuff to help you win, and all. But it's to learn all
again. For a battle royale, it's literally like land, loot, and survive. I mean, that's it. You pick up what's there. You kill someone, you take their stuff. All you're doing is you're looking. If you've got an assault rifle and it's white, you're looking for an assault rifle that's green, blue, or purple, or gold. You know, it's literally just you're just looking for the next upgrade.
Maybe I'm that's just the thing. Making up excuses so I don't play it.
Yeah, that sounds more like that. But I mean, honestly, the no build mode actually brings it back to a battle royale, and that's what people want. That's what people have wanted for a long time with Fortnite.
Yeah.
So look, I mean, I may even invest a bit of time in it this week before it gets taken out, because I wouldn't mind seeing how it plays as just a battle royale.
Who knows? You might actually see both of us playing Fortnite together at some stage in the near future. Never thought I'd say that. Never. It may be the only time you see Fortnite on my channel. Just saying. Just saying.
I didn't say I'd stream it. I said I'd play it, because I've never streamed that game.
If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna stream it. I'm gonna have everyone hang shit on me.
Laughing and pointing how bad you are.
It's the streamer way.
Why did you take the white weapon when there was a blue one?
You idiot! Why did you do that? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the only way.
If they bring the no build mode in, they need to open it up to not only just solos, but they need to open up to duos and trios, squads like that, because it would be a very big draw to have, you know, a teammate or two or three teammates to actually be able to play. You know, I mean, you playing a battle royale, you need to give us a team.
It's definitely more strategic, I think, not having any building. Like
100%.
You have to hide. You have to sort of sneak out in the open.
You have to use what cover you've got. Yeah, exactly. That's right. You've got to use trees. You've got to use buildings. You've got to use bins. You've got to use vehicles. You've got to use hills and mountains and all that kind of shit. The terrain is your friend in battle royale.
I might give it a go. Who knows? Anyway,
we'll play it. We'll play it.
Yeah, I probably will. Someone will drag me into it. Someone will drag me into it. Anyway, Narwhal Fps, a 15-year-old streamer who made a name for herself on YouTube by solving Rubik's Cubes and kicking ass in Valorant, has a total of 43 million views on the platform. Thanks to that, she was able to afford a new gaming PC that she's been using to stream Valorant since. That was until her father threw her new PC in the pool.
You're water cooling it, that's all.
Narwhal FPS was fighting with her sister, whom she accused of messing with the PC. In short, she blamed her for breaking it and asked her dad to fix it. Her dad, however, had a bad day at work and was only grudgingly willing to fix the computer. So when Narwhal and her sister kept on fighting and didn't listen to her dad trying to fix the PC, he threw it in the pool. Typical.
The problem was it was running too hot. He did fix it. He put it in to get water cooled. That's all it was. He fixed it.
I mean, this was a brand new computer that she had bought with her own money, and he just straight in the pool.
See, there's the fucking thing. I don't care. If they bought it themselves, and they're not listening to me, guess where it's going? It's yeeting right out the window. It's simple as that.
See, I agree, but I draw a line somewhere. I have, like, if it's too expensive, I'm like, no, I won't do it. But ever since, many have reached out and offered to buy Narwhal FPS a new computer, but her parents won't allow her to accept donations. Now she can no longer make content until she manages to get a new PC. RIP. No, that sucks. I mean, it sucks if you have essentially gone viral.
So she's not allowed to accept donations, but they're not saying she can't accept a gift.
That it would be the same. I mean, her parents would be like, no, you're not accepting any money from anyone. But that'd be hard.
Then how did? Okay, I mean, so if she's not allowed to accept money from anyone, how did she get the computer in the first place? Because if you're making content, they're obviously giving you tips and donos. So what the hell?
All right, so she went viral from solving Rubik's Cubes and playing Valorant, and obviously got donations that way.
Right, exactly.
Enough to buy a PC, clearly. So I don't know. That's hard, man. Like But you put yourself in her shoes. You know, you're 15. You've become relatively successful from becoming viral on YouTube. You've bought your own PC. You're making strides to do what you want to do, and then your dad just walks in and goes
right
straight in the pool. Like,
see that screams publicity stunt to me. I'm sorry, but it does.
It'd be publicity stunt
because she would be a minor, as Psychotic's saying. She would be a minor, so everything would have to go through her parents anyway. So it still screams a big stunt to me.
I don't know.
Like,
That's
she must have had donations or whatever to get the computer in the first place. Because you don't just go, oh, look, miraculously, there's money in my account. Like, shit, let me go and buy a PC. Like, no,
I don't know.
that wouldn't happen.
I can only assume that it's all legit and whatnot.
Well,
still, like that.
It smells off to me. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know.
I'm playing devil's advocate here. It smells off to me. It doesn't seem legit.
I will give benefit of the doubt to the story. No, I can only imagine. Like if it were true, that would be absolutely.
If it was true, that situation would suck. But then, like, it would still have to go through the parents anyway. So I don't see how it would be a problem not to replace it. Just saying. Just saying.
Moving on. Ubisoft has announced a new cloud computing project it calls Ubisoft Scalar. Very original. Which it says will be the basis of even bigger game worlds, because that's what we need from Ubisoft. Bigger game worlds that they can fuck up on. Lead developer...
What we need from Ubisoft is a proper game.
Right. Yeah, not like The Crew 2, which was not really a new game. It was the same game as The Crew, just a little bit bigger. Lead development on Scalar is being undertaken by Ubisoft Stockholm, which is creating a new IP that will use this technology in an under-wraps game. Ooh. I wonder how they're going to screw it.
Game.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to screw everyone over.
They already have. It's under wraps.
Yeah. No one knows what it is. No, it's... God, if it's another racing game, which it's going to be, I mean, Ubisoft just do that sort of thing. It's been a while since they've done one. Although they are still supporting The Crew 2, so... God, no, not The Crew 3. No, surely not. Alright, so Ubisoft stated... Hang on. I'll get back to you on that one. Games using Ubisoft Scalar can use a virtually unlimited amount of computing power, and thus run anything from virtual worlds of unprecedented scale and depth to vastly detailed simulations that wouldn't be possible otherwise, by placing microservices independently in the cloud. Ubisoft Scalar enables developers to update and improve one service without impacting others, or even add new features or components to a game without interrupting play sessions. Ubisoft Scalar's purpose is to remove technical constraints for game developers, enabling them to focus on creativity and design for never-before-seen player experiences. Big words. We've heard those before. It's like...
But, so, like, Ubisoft needs an RPG-style game.
Yes. I would say
they
yes.
need like a new world sort of, you know what I mean, like that. Not necessarily a new world, but you know, that kind of thing. They need to grab that market because the racing market has gone downhill. The Assassin's Creed style thing, that's kind of nah.
Yeah, they need like
I need to grab an RPG,
a new world, a Fable, or just like an RPG open world that's just stupidly expansive, and they can just keep adding shit in. Like as I said, they can just add stuff in even during live play sessions without it interrupting gameplay at all. So they could push out updates to the world, and it wouldn't affect
the actual while you're playing.
You could essentially have a living, breathing world that reacts in real time. Real time.
Good, potentially.
Good. So you could have events play out. They could inject an event into the world, at a certain location, and it would just happen.
You know what's kind of struck me there is Defiance. The game Defiance is starting to make a resounding resemblance here. Like it's like, because Defiance was very similar. Is they had that they tried to link the game to the TV show. So what happened in the game happened within the show, and vice versa. So they could then inject events within the world that would then play out in the TV show. So I'm kind of getting I'm starting to see a Defiance line going there. So it might be interesting.
It's a damn cool concept if they could pull it off. Like the way I see it, it's like the flight simulator of worlds, except how Flight Simulator essentially streams in all the data to flesh out the land below you. It would do the same thing, except you're on the land.
Here's a thought. What if Ubisoft stuck to their guns and went, okay, it's a racing game, but they did like a Solar Crown type thing on an open world that's expansive?
That continues to expand, perhaps?
Expand, yeah.
Ooh.
What if they stuck with that kind of theory of their base of racing?
All right, so instead of having, say, the Crew 2, where it is USA, which is a very restrictive map, it's only a certain size, it's just a completely,
expansive
brand new world, never before seen, and they can just keep adding to it and just expanding further and further.
Yep.
That would be kind of cool. That would be cool. I'd actually be interested in that if that were a thing. Maybe. Don't get my hopes up, Ubisoft. I swear to God.
But no, I mean, if you look at it like an expansive world, would only really work in one or two facets. It would either work with an RPG or a racing element, or like a sim style element.
It would have to be, that sort of open world style.
I mean, unless
RPG, I think, would be the best.
What if you did say like an Assassin's Creed style on an open world expansive thing where you traveled across different continents?
Oh,
you could.
Yeah,
you really could.
I mean, that would bring the whole like flight simulator thing into it, where they essentially have the entire world mapped out.
Well, no, not like that. What I'm saying though is, it streams in the data, but what if it was just like, you had to trek across Africa to get to said place, and then you had to,
that would be interesting. I don't know how.
I see a few options there though. Like I do see a few options there.
Yeah, the thing is, like,
how they go about it though is
with Assassin's Creed.
Let's hope they don't
fuck it up. Yeah, if they fuck it. Assassin's Creed uses historical land points though, so like historical things that have happened, they sort of use that and be like, oh, but there was this secret society behind everything, That's sort of what they do. So if they could implement that somehow into an open world.
Well, think about it. They've already got all the Assassin's Creed stuff there. How hard is that going to be to upload each element into the game?
Yeah, but they're different. They're different time zones, though. So that's.
Yeah, but I mean that's that's a small part of it when you've already got those things built for it.
I guess I don't know. We're just purely speculating at this stage.
I'm just saying, there's plenty of options they could do if they get it right.
If they get it right, and that's what I'm worried about, because Crackdown 3 promised the same level of awesomeness by using cloud computing for its physics-based models in the multiplayer portion of the game.
Universe,
So, and they had their tech demo back in 2015 for Crackdown 3 multiplayer, where you destroy buildings and it all falls down and whatnot. And in that demo, looked really fucking cool. The multiplayer came out, it was really fucking bad. It was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
It looked nothing like what the tech demo did. Like, the physics worked, but you died quicker than you'd be able to trigger a building falling down. Because it would take so much to have that destruction that you wanted to see, but you never saw it because you died.
Yeah.
I mean, even when it did happen, it was cool, but it wasn't as cool, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a few options I could go down there.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what they do with that, though.
Yeah. do indeed.
As long as they don't do it up.
They will do something. For those using OBS Studio, congratulations. It's now on Steam. Nothing particularly interesting about that. It's just on Steam. It's exactly the same as what you get off the website. That's it. It's just in your Steam library.
You can have the automatic updates, so you don't have to go and do the manual updates all the time.
Ooh.
That's the only thing different, is you can set it in the automatic updates.
That's if you want the automatic update. See, but like there are updates that come out for OBS, and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna skip that because I don't really need it.
No, yeah, skip
so
that version.
I'd rather have that than have it just automatically update and then have a possibility of it fucking something out on OBS. I'll be fine, thanks.
No, but there's no benefit to it, guys, honestly. If you want to get it through Steam and have it in your library so it's always there, go ahead, grab it, put it in there, no issues.
Yeah.
If you don't really care and you just want to like manually look after your updates, then don't put it in Steam. It's simple as that. Just keep it on your desktop. It's fine. It's not going to not work on your desktop because it's in Steam and vice versa. Don't
I think
stress
it's more for people who are like, I need to have everything in one place. I need, like, everything is here. I mean, that's why they started offering software on Steam, so people could have that stuff in one place.
Yeah,
I don't care. As long as it installs and it works, that's all I care about.
Right.
The Xbox Era podcast, which had Phil Spencer on as a guest on the show last week, discussed a matter in a recent rumor mill show.
Sorry, can you just restate that first statement? The Xbox podcast that had Phil Spencer as a guest.
Yes.
You talk about the biggest name for Xbox as a guest on the Xbox show.
The Xbox Era podcast. Okay, so yes, there was a rumor mill segment, and they discussed a point in there. One of the show's hosts, I'm assuming this is pronounced Special Nick, it claims that he's heard of new Xbox hardware to be shown this year. The host goes on to say that it'll be a little bit different from what people are expecting, claiming that Xbox currently has some hardware to show that falls into a different bucket than what people are probably expecting. That intrigues the absolute shit out of me. Because, I mean, what hardware we'd think? New controllers? Nah. Storage? I mean, that's done. I mean, we expect more storage to come. We expect new controllers to come. So it's something completely different. And I feel like you have an idea of what it is just by the smirk on your face.
I think we've already touched on this through SideNet once before.
Possibly. VR?
No.
No, I don't think it's going to be VR. The Xbox is very much against VR, and I hate that.
Like, you can't say controllers because we've already done that. I mean, they've just released the fucking
the spring
Sonic
versions.
the Hedgehog the Sonic furry controllers.
Oh no, that's a one-time thing.
Blue Sonic, yeah, the blue Sonic one and the red.
But they have
one.
just released their spring. I think it was spring versions. There's 4 new controllers that have like a spring feel. Yeah, I don't know. I
mean, I wouldn't mind betting that it will be something in the way of the mobile gaming sector.
You reckon?
Now, whether that's something with Nintendo
Like
directly,
a handheld device? Maybe.
you're
I mean, there
starting the
was
con one now.
there was
There was
speculation.
talk Xbox are doing that.
I
Yes,
think it was last year. Yeah, there was speculation
Mhm.
that Microsoft were working on a
yes,
handheld device.
a handheld. Yes,
Uh,
and with
so
the uprise of the Steam Deck,
yes, and to be honest, I think it would be exactly that. It would be a a, a hard competitor against the Steam Deck
Steam
and the
Deck
Switch.
with the X Cloud.
Yes, because you can get cloud gaming on the Steam Deck, but it's a little bit finicky and it only works with so many games. If
Mhm.
and plus the Steam OS is a total pile of dog shit, so that doesn't work. So if they were to bring out their own competitor, I mean, there is a market for it
Mhm.
for that sort of handheld device. If they were to bring that out, and
Think
but you have like I don't know, it comes with Game Pass Ultimate for 3 months or whatever.
mhm.
Huge winner right there. You can have access
Xbox has
to the
Xbox has
cloud.
not done anything with the portable gaming as such.
So do you reckon they
On the
were
go
trying
gaming.
to get the infrastructure down first
Yep.
and then work on hardware? And
one
that's
Hundred
not a
percent.
bad move.
100%.
That's not a bad
100%.
move at all.
Because think about the recent acquisitions as well.
True.
If they could
Um,
make a handheld device
yeah.
through the Game Pass through or even xCloud that would play Game Pass games,
Mm.
what
But the thing is,
potentially could they bring to the mobile gaming sector
yeah.
that would nail pretty much everything?
If they, all right, I can see it happening.
Mm.
I can see them bringing out a Steam Deck competitor because
Oh yeah, 100%.
as cool as it is to play a game from the cloud on my phone, uh, it's kind of small
Nah.
and it's not really
Yeah.
it's not that great. But if I had like a bigger screen, you know, and it had all the functionality of what my phone would and maybe then some, yeah, that'd be cool. But
Let's
it's not
also not
only
forget.
cloud gaming that you have access to. You'd have
Mhm.
access to the entire Game Pass library. Like you'd have local
Mhm.
storage, so you'd be able to
That's
store
right.
games locally. You'd also have access to streaming games from your Xbox to your device. The whole play anywhere thing is like, oh, I've just left my Xbox. I'm gonna go sit on the toilet, but I'm gonna continue playing my game on my
Yeah,
on,
right.
on my
But think about
Xbox
it. I mean,
handheld.
it but it makes a lot of sense because they have been in bed with Nintendo for 6, 7 years.
I mean, it would be good. It would
It does
definitely
make a lot of sense.
it would definitely be something really really good. Like
And
it would.
let's be honest, Microsoft is not afraid to start something and then pull a pin on it, aka Mixer, just to build technology. They're not afraid to
No,
do it.
no.
So again, you could be looking at a VR option. Like you said, they've stopped that VR headset.
They've shut down
Maybe
VR
they've
every
used
time
that,
it comes up.
but maybe they've figured out the technology they want for that. That's why they now cancelled that so they can go away and do
It's
something completely different on that avenue.
yeah. I mean,
You
it
know,
would definitely be a high density OLED screen. Like you would did like God knows what resolution they'd probably go for, but obviously the resolution would be limited to whatever they put in the device. But
mhm,
I mean, they're good at jamming a lot of shit into a small
in a
space. I
small
mean,
package.
you
Yeah.
look at the Series X. There is so
Yep.
much that's just like intricately like put together in such a small
But
form factor.
not only that, I mean, think about things like Razer phones and stuff like that. You know, they're full gaming phones. It's
Yeah.
not hard for
I
Xbox to
mean,
look at those
you got
specs and
the
go, "Holy shit, we can do that. We can do
yeah, I
that
mean,
twice as
you got
big." You know?
yeah, you got the Asus Asus Phone
Yeah.
5. Uh,
Yep.
you know, that is pure. I mean, it's a kind of chunky phone, but for what it does, holy shit! I mean,
But think about what
you give
Xbox or
that a little
Microsoft could
bit
do with it.
more. Yeah, you give that a little bit more real estate. Oh,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you could jam a lot in there. Plus, you'd be using the Xbox OS in there, which
Mm-hmm.
would
Yep.
just work. I mean, they've got that shit down pat. So,
No, they know how
you
to
know,
work that
yeah.
system easy.
So compatibility with games would just work.
Work.
Essentially, it would be a mobile device.
I think
So
now think about the option too. If they can do the mobile stuff, how easy would it then be to branch into, aka Switch? Because they've already got the technology then to bring it into Switch.
do they?
How
I
easy
mean,
would it then be to breach that onto Steam
but
Deck?
well,
How hard would it be to do
then
anything?
at well, it would be you would see Game Pass on those
Hmm.
devices
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
as an optional
I
extra.
I think we've already spoken about this situation
Yeah,
once before, and I
we
think
have. Yeah,
you're looking at Xbox going the mobile route. They're going to handheld option.
I
And I
mean,
think that's why they're in with Nintendo a fair bit, is because they're
yeah,
using technology that Nintendo have already got and ideas
yeah,
to create the
mm,
Xbox mobile
yeah. I
gaming
mean,
thing. And I think that's what we're looking at,
the
to be
way
honest.
Xbox has dealt with things ever since Phil Spencer got in, they have just gone one thing at a time.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
sort out the system sorted, sort out accessibility, sort out the consoles. Consoles are fucking as sweet as shit. Like you can't get any better than what you got.
See, the
You
thing
got
that
the
gives it away
infrastructure.
is that article says it's hardware and never seen before. So what have we never
Yeah,
seen in the Xbox market?
a
We've seen
mobile
consoles.
device. Yeah,
We've never seen the mobile gaming area touched
Uh,
by Xbox.
it's either it has to be either mobile device VR, but we know damn well what their stance is on VR. They have zero intentions of diving into
Mhm.
it anytime soon, which sucks because it would be really cool, Xbox, if you fucking did it. um,
There's enough VR options. They don't need to get involved in
yeah,
that market, I don't think.
but
And it wouldn't necessarily
like,
be a phone service side as much. I'm thinking more it's going to be like a Switch.
yeah, it
It's
would
going to be
definitely
more
be
of
a
a
Switch
handheld
slash
console,
Steam
not a
Deck sort of
mobile,
thing.
as in like phone type thing.
Yeah, it would be the Switch Lite and Steam Deck sort of thing. It would just be a fully
Potentially, yeah.
one piece of hardware. Um, just bring no,
Windows Phone.
no, no,
No, that was
Ramirez.
so bad. No, just
No,
no,
absolutely not.
please.
Never, never, ever, ever should that ever come back. No, no.
Unless it's being skipped across a lake to end up in the bottom of it, it should never be brought back.
It should be used as a skipping stone. Yes, across the Pacific Ocean. Uh,
Well, it would be um, a storage device, so I would allow you to bring it down.
yeah. I mean, you can get some pretty hefty SD cards now.
Oh,
Uh,
cheeky.
yeah, and they're not expensive by any means. They're actually
No.
fairly reasonable in price. But I would have no doubts Xbox, in all of their infinite wisdom, would have a USB port on there,
Mm-hmm.
so you can take your portable Xbox drive, just go out of your Xbox into your Xbox thing, and maybe just slide it into the back of it. I don't know.
And what we're saying just about the storage drives before, haven't they just
Yeah.
done the storage drives that give you the same as the Series X?
So
I mean, think about it. It's right there. I mean, what's a bloody SSD now? Like, their sticks, they're this big.
Yeah,
You know, like it's not going to be hard for them to slap one of those into a Switch
they could
size
go
console.
on a really ridiculous route which I really hope they don't do, and make another proprietary hardware solution for said device. I really hope they don't.
No. Because they'd have to think the overall cost on such a small device. It wouldn't
my
work.
My guess would be SD. I mean, it's slim, small, holds a lot of data. You know, that would be the most reasonable option. And some other form of option for storage. Whether it be a USB device or you even get like a USB flash drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it may only
You
hold
get terabyte flash drives.
Yeah, it may only hold like 2 games on there. Well, yeah, terabyte. Yeah, but they
You can get terabyte flash.
They get expensive though.
But it depends on what they want to do. Like if they've already got the SSDs that can match what they do anyway, like we said at the start of the show with the drives, that's only a stick that's this big, and it's that could hide in there. That wouldn't be a hard thing to do.
What if they had a small form factor M.2 drive in the device?
That's what I'm saying.
That you could.
That's what I'm saying.
Upgrade. First upgradable hard drive since what? The Xbox Elite 360 Elite, I think. Well, I mean the 360.
But think about it, though. They've already got that drive there working.
Yeah.
They're already using those drives and they're working. So why couldn't they put it into, say, a Switch-sized console?
We'll
watch this space. Let's watch this space.
We shall have to continue to speculate. But unfortunately, we have run out of time for this week's show. We didn't get to everything, which was nice. It's nice to have some leftovers.
That means we've got more for next week.
Yeah, it's nice to have some leftovers for the week. But
it is.
Yeah, that's gonna do it.
So yeah, once again, as always, thank you guys for tuning on in. Thank you to YouTube if you're watching this episode on YouTube. We appreciate you taking the time. If you guys do want to be on the show, please hit us up in the Discord. Come and be on the show. Come and share your thoughts.
Yes.
Don't be shy. We don't bite.
We'd be happy to have you on. Talk about you, how you got started, how you're going. You can give your feedback on the week's topics and so on and so forth.
But yes.
Yes.
So that's going to wrap that up for us today.
Yes.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, we'll be back next week with another bunch of news and hopefully some more sagas.
Yes, indeed. Thanks everyone
as
for joining.
Always, take it easy, be safe, and we'll see you next week.
We'll catch you next time. Peace out.